You're getting ready to head out the door or go to church again, and you can get links and information at alanjackson.com. And Pastor, I do appreciate all that you do in your teaching and really helping people seek the Lord and really, keep that in the forefront of our lives. And it's such an encouragement. And so blessings to you and everybody there at the ministry and your church.
Thank you, Lee, for all you're doing. Spring's coming. Don't give up.
Every day it gets a little lighter. John and I keep talking about that. By the time the program ends, every day. Eventually it'll be light when we get off the air.
We are praying for it.
That's good news. All right. Well, thank you, Pastor, again. God bless. We'll look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. If you want more information on the 40 days for seeking God, again, alanjackson.com is where you can go. They've got great resources there, whether you're looking for a plan for fasting, support through that, whether you're looking for scripture reading or daily devotionals. He mentioned his special he has with Paul, a new 90-day devotional. You can get that as well through their website. And when it comes to prayer, really thinking outside the box. And I love his analogy of doing a one-line prayer and being there and being deliberate about that. It's a great way to interject God, to interject Christ into the life of a believer or somebody who's not a believer. And we've talked about that before. There's so many people that, whether in a restaurant or where they're at, they'll just take a minute and say, hey, how are you? How can I pray for you today? How can I ask God to bless you, whatever the case may be. We've had lots of great resources for doing just that. And Alan Jackson Ministries has a bunch of them too. alanjackson.com is where you can go for more information on any of that. They've got great resources for you, so take advantage of those as well. Of course, you can listen to the radio program every weekday morning at 8:30 here, part of our ministry morning on AM 980 The Mission. We've got a special Sunday program that plays Sundays at 9 here on The Mission. And I'll get another plug for the Good News line, and it ties in with what Alan Jackson, what their ministry is doing with their good news too. And it sounds like he's going to plug that. 651-289-4434, 651-289-4434, our Mission Good News line. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. This is Crosswalk on the Twin Cities Christian Voice, AM 980 The Mission. You'll find us online at am980themission.com.
Stand on the Lord. We're walking, I'm talking with my mind. Share on Jesus. Hallelujah. 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 I'm singing and praying with my mind.
In today's America, you can now lose your job for calling a man he if he decides he no longer feels like a man. Meanwhile, children are being pumped full of puberty-blocking drugs or even hormones for exhibiting confusion about their sex, making permanent a confusion that studies show will likely pass with time. How have we gotten to this point? The compelling new documentary, The Tragedy of Gender Confusion, exposes the twisted ideology that's capturing an entire generation.
Schools are lining up to push the transgender agenda on kids.
Anyone who challenges this new gender orthodoxy risks being canceled. And in fact, this documentary has already been banned from online streaming and can no longer be seen at Salem Now. The only way to see this incredible truth-telling program is on DVD. Get the DVD that corporate media doesn't want you to see, The Tragedy of Gender Confusion, at salemnowstore.com.
We wanted a four-wheel drive SUV, so we just stopped at Inver Grove Hyundai, and we liked what we see. And obviously the same day even, I bought one. Hi, this is Gary in Maplewood, and that started the relationship with Inver Grove Hyundai, and I'm on my third Hyundai since. I've bought at least 20 new cars, and in all the dealerships that I've dealt with, I've never felt more at home and appreciated.
Be on the right side of the NCAA tournament bubble.
Everybody's really good. Everybody's physical. Everybody's defensive minded, and it's really.
The 7 below. Mostly sunny, windy tomorrow, a high of 29. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, a low of 16. Northwest winds 15 to 25 and gusty tonight. Tomorrow, Sunday partly cloudy, we're up near 28. I'm TV9 First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Joe Winters on News Talk 1540 KXEL.
This hour, it's 5 degrees from News Talk 1540 KXEL.
Driving liberal elites crazy with a dose of common sense. This is from Microwave.
Tough as hell.
That's why I like Mark Levin. And I'm not sure a lot of people like him. He's tough as hell. But I like him. I love him.
Call in now. 877-381-3811.
All right, America, welcome back. Rich Valdez, Valdez with an S. At Rich Valdez on all of the social media. At Rich Valdez with an S. Now, I want to talk about what's going on. Who are the culprits here? Is it just the media? Of course not. There's a lot of people here. We've got a lot of enemies in this country. But the media, they've said so many crazy things over the years. And we're going to get into a montage of that. But I want to start off with Brian Stelter, because he's saying that Cuomo's trying to burn the place down. Now, this doesn't surprise me, because certain New York politicians are kind of like Jersey politicians. A Jersey Democrat is really like a Chicago gangster, from like an Al Capone type of gangster, lamentably, but that's how it is. Like a Nancy Pelosi, for example. And I know she's from San Francisco today, but she's got her roots. And Stelter says that Cuomo's trying to burn the whole shit down. Now, this is, a little bit of civil war in the CNN camp. But it doesn't mean that CNN's not guilty as charged. But I want you to listen to Brian Stelter. Check this out.
Cuomo was fired in December, and he is not going out quietly. He was fired, and there were reports that he wasn't going to get paid the millions of dollars that were going to be on the remainder of his contract. So as a source said to me earlier today, he was trying to burn the place down. He was going to court trying to burn the place down and claiming that he had incriminating information about Zucker and Gullis. So if that's the case, if this is a domino effect that begins with Andrew Cuomo going down the governor's office, and then Chris Cuomo being fired from CNN, and then Jeff Zucker losing his job at CNN, that is a remarkable domino effect, a chain of events. I think that is part of the story.
There's always more to the story than Brian Stelter is sharing. And I have to say, and I haven't rehearsed this, so, forgive me for trying new stuff on the air, but I really think that Brian Stelter somehow, in some way, sounds like a Mickey Mouse impersonator. Kind of like, welcome to the Magic Kingdom, I'm Brian. I don't know. I'm going to keep working on that. I think I'm onto something. Brian the Mouse, I don't know. You guys help me out with a nickname. But I want to talk about this because the media has really and it's not the first time. The media has been in this mess from the beginning. And what I mean is, we talked about Civil War. And again, I'm going to let that theme go eventually. But I keep bringing it up because, to me, it's so important that we realize they're the ones that are truly moving the needle on this. Right? Just recently, on MSNBC and her guest, Jasmine Crockett, I believe, that were making these very, very heavy-handed comments. They're going to say, yeah, but the critics, they'll say, Rich, but Donald Trump called for, we're going to fight like hell, and we'll play that one too. But I think as I play this for you, you're going to see the difference. This wasn't anything like the other situation. But what defines their movement, right? Their tool is the information revolution. But their motivation is hate. And if we oversimplify in life, you can find lots of things that motivate you. But if you really want to boil it down, bring it down to brass tacks, you're either operating in love or you're operating in hate. Some people might say they're neutral. I disagree. And I think they reveal it right here. Check this out.
And I think that black women will continue to fight for our democracy. And that's exactly what I plan to do. I don't plan to give up. I know that I wouldn't be here but for those that fought before me. And so I'm going to continue this fight. We can't let up. If we say we've been defeated, then they have won. But this is a war. This isn't a battle. And we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon and get involved, because this is for the safety and lasting of the country.
For the safety and the lasting of our country, you must pick up a weapon. You must pick up a weapon and stop the talk radio people, to stop the people that are not from CNN and MSNBC. I find this stuff laughable. But this isn't the first time, right? 3-4 years ago, Eric Holder, former Attorney General to Barack Obama, he said, Michelle Obama always says, when they go low, we go high. Well, you know what? Rather than me recount the story, listen to this.
But Michelle always says that, when they go low, we go high. When they go low, we kick them. That's what this new Democratic Party is about. We're proud as hell to be Democrats. We're going to fight for the ideals of the Democratic Party. We're proud of our history.
So you make the decision here. Are they motivated by love, for the love of their country, or are they motivated by hate? When they go low, we kick them. I can't help but laugh at these people because they're so obvious. But I try to point it out because there's a pattern. There's a pattern, and again, I know I'm preaching to the choir and using a couple of old clips to make the case, but that's exactly what it does. It shows a history where they've been motivated by hate, and they use misinformation, even in some cases disinformation, straight up lies, to get their way. They'll say that Donald Trump, El Trumpito Donaldus Magnus, the 45th president of these United States, they'll say that when he said we have to fight like hell, that it's no different than what she said. Now, she said we got to fight like hell. I wouldn't mind anybody saying we've got to fight like hell, as long as you make some sort of caveat there, clarifying, saying we got to fight like hell. This is a cultural revolution. You got to fight like hell. It's an information war. You got to fight like hell. Non-violent, of course. But no, She says pick up a weapon and get in the game. But you've got Trump that says fight like hell. And he says, hey, you gotta go peacefully and patriotically. But listen to this.
Our brightest days are before us. Our greatest achievements still wait. I think one of our great achievements will be election security, because nobody until I came along had any idea how corrupt our elections were. And again, most people would stand there at 9 o'clock in the evening and say, oh, thank you very much. And they go off to some other life. But I said, something's wrong here. Something's really wrong. Can't have happened. And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
He's 100% right, If we don't fight like hell, we won't have a company anymore, a country, etc. So now, to be fair-minded, I say, okay, so did Donald Trump just say exactly what Tiffany Cross said? I personally don't think so, and I don't think it's because of my pro-Trump biases, my conservative biases. No, I think it's honestly because he clarifies what he's saying. He goes on to say that we've got to be peaceful and patriotic. That's the important part, that this stuff is clear. But listen to Trump again.
We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
How clear, peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. I mean, it doesn't get clearer than that. Anyway, I want to hear from you guys on this, because I believe that, A, the media is really leading the charge on this, and pizza that we got out there.
There's a bunch of sausage slices left, and there's also...
Honey, I'm going to take these boxes upstairs.
Would have been smarter for the person to say. Boy, he was pretty much falling somewhere in the range of 20 to 32. That's where most people had him, but like now we're seeing him crap out in the teens area, and now I don't know if it'll actually happen, because I know if a lot of people like our FCS school, we can 5, 6, 2, 7, 7, 2, there's still 3, 4.
lugar a él que se merece.
Someone at the Minneapolis Police Department made the decision, okay, let's release this video. Even though it does not look good for them, even though it's bad, I appreciate it, because let's face it, in years past, it's been, we're going...
for your Friday Fun Day right there from Greater Vision. You've arrived. And you've arrived right here for your home. Or at your home. You've arrived at your home, yes. For all of the new hits, the classics, everything in between. That a little throwback from Greater Vision going back about 2 or 3 years. We have it all right here for you.
This is Sebastian Gorka, and I want to invite you to join me for a powerful travel opportunity that will likely become the highlight of your year. I'm headed to Israel in November 2022 for a 10-day Stand with Israel tour of the key sites and best places meant to give you an unprecedented view of a world you've likely only read or wondered about. Together, we'll uncover key geopolitical insights as we unpack Israel's significance on the world stage. You'll return home empowered by the experience. If you ever dreamt of visiting Israel, this is your opportunity. Come with me in 2022. For more information, call 855-565-5519 or book online at standwithisraeltour.com. 855-565-5519 or standwithisraeltour.com. AM 1090 KAAY.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed, and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? That's why Autism Speaks is teaming up with Lee Container, the J. Donald and Laurel Lee Family Foundation Fund, and Delivering Jobs to create a more inclusive workforce in the U.S. Are you an HR professional, community leader, or business owner? Join us in creating a workforce where people of all abilities can contribute and thrive. To learn more, visit autismspeaks.org/employment.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gordon Christensen. When I became a dentist, I learned how quickly poor oral health can lead to other serious health problems. And for people without access to care, these problems can spiral very quickly. I wanted help, so I joined Dental Lifeline Network. Right now, there's a wait list for patients in need in your community. I'm asking fellow.
To learn more, visit willyouc1.org.
Time is running out on your chance to enter the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square sweepstakes. Every time the score changes, somebody's going to win $50,000. That means every touchdown, field goal, 50 G's. Plus,
online services help with you as consultant with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Walk MS brings communities together to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. Together we are stronger. Register today at walkms.org.
From the International Gospel Hour, this is 60 Seconds for the Savior. I'm Jeff Archer. As God told Moses to go before Pharaoh, God wanted Moses to see his great strength. He asked Moses in Exodus 4, verse 2, "What is that in your hand?" Of course, Moses had a rod that God turned into a serpent, and as Moses grabbed it by the tail, it became a rod again. You know, that question remains today. What is that in your hand? You know, David had a sling and slayed a giant. A little lad had his lunch, and Jesus fed a multitude. Dear listener, take the opportunities that are before you. What is in your hand, friend? And allow God to guide you and to use what is in your hand, the opportunities for Him, for His glory. Visit us at internationalgospelhour.com, and thanks for taking 60 seconds for the Savior, kind friends, and as always, have a good day.
AM 1090 KAAY.
Happy time this way.
drive in the all-new Toyota GR86.
If you started out to walk in the light, don't let Satan turn you from God and right. Just keep on moving, yes, moving along the way. A happy time is waiting us over there. Get ready for that meeting up in the air. Just keep on moving, yes, moving on the gospel. Moving on.
Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC.
On the Banker Sports Network. Roger is the air.
So 70 to 36, 44 right there. Minnesota State, the number 1 ranked.
Antioch County Senior National. 20.
For history in several categories. It was a prime because the board storyline, no non-warrant after the shooting death of Amir Long, when the SWAT team carried out a search warrant while Henry K. the young girl.
During the break, I thought I was going to belch there for a second, Nick Theodore. Which, by the way, Sunday morning not a great scout. I did not see any margarita slices. There was. I see sausage slices, and then I saw a pepperoni slice, but I did take the pepperoni slice. And I quickly just ate that during the break, so now I'm starting to, like when I speak, I still feel the slice in my mouth, but my mouth's going to get watering for the rest of the segment. Anyway, Jerry Jones, a lot of drama. He evaluates success, in my mind, based off of how much drama he could stir up in the season and then leading into the offseason. Remember, this is a guy, when he finally parted ways with Jason Garrett and finally said, all right, we're not bringing Jason Garrett back, he waited to make that decision until the wild card game, during the game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks at the time. That was the way that Jerry Jones got in the postseason that year. Now, the Cowboys went into the season saying they should win the NFC East, but when the season started to go on, you're like, all right, they're Super Bowl contenders. They're one of the top 5 teams in the NFC. Then the playoffs come rolling around. Dak Prescott didn't have a good postseason game. CeeDee Lamb only had 1 catch in the game. Jimmy G walks into Dallas, literally tries to hand the game over to them after establishing a nice lead. And we all know the disaster of the 14-second decision by the drama Dallas Cowboys to do a QB draw, back runs 5 yards further than what he...
Pumped, but I'm shocked because we're sitting here and I'm looking at the standings and I'm thinking maybe I'm missing something. I got the 76ers right now sitting in the 3 seed. In the East, I got the Nets sitting at the 6 seed, but only a couple of games back. We've got this East where everybody's clicked together and I'm thinking it'll work itself out. But now all of a sudden, according to reports, it looks like there's a possibility that the 76ers, instead of waiting till the offseason, are going to try right now to work out a deal to get James Harden before the February 10th trade deadline, in fact, increasing in their mind.
I actually like it for both of them. Here's the thing. We've heard, even though James Harden has sort of denied it, that he's unhappy. He doesn't really like Steve Nash's rotation. He doesn't like the taxes in New York. He's frustrated with Kyrie's not being available. He's frustrated with the weight on his shoulders with KD out. We're hearing that James Harden is pretty disgruntled. He did not sign the contract that the Nets offered up, and they expect to lose him in the offseason most likely. So maybe they'd rather get rid of him now and get something in return than lose him altogether for nothing. Now you'd say, but don't they want to take one last shot at it as the big three? And there is a part of me that says, your 13-3, I think, is the number when you've got Kyrie, KD, and Harden all together. Is it worth it to blow this up before you ever give it a real shot? And I don't know, the way you've seen Harden, who's allegedly suffering from a hamstring injury, which some people are doubting is really keeping him from playing, and who looks like such garbage in that last game as they continue this 6-game skid. You wonder if he's going to put enough in to make it worth keeping him around, or if you're better off with a fresh start. We know this would be great for the Sixers because they're getting nothing from Simmons, and even though they likely would have to give back
Tobias Harris. They would probably, most people would say, in terms of making the money work and making it work for the Nets, you probably would have to give up more than that. It might be worth it for them, Fitz, because you're adding Harden back to Daryl Morey. You've got a core of, Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Tybalt, Green. I mean, Green might end up going, but man, if I'm Sixers and I saw what happened last year, where all of our hopes and dreams of the regular season just didn't work out in the playoffs, I'm trying to go for it.
Yeah, so that's what's interesting. Daryl Morey, I think, is the key to this entire conversation to me, because I always love it when somebody is thinking about acquiring or letting go of a player that they know incredibly well. Daryl Morey knows everything there is to know at this point about all things Harden, right? Like, nothing's going to surprise him at this point. So if he's deciding that he wants James Harden on this team, he knows exactly who he's getting. Behind the scenes, he knows exactly who he's getting on the floor. It is still, though, a stunning, two sides of it that would be stunning to me. Number one, we would have to admit the epic fail that the Nets have been going through all of this. Like, to your point, 13-3 when they're all on the court together. They're never on the court together. Right. This is not at all what any of us banked in or thought we were going to get when these guys came together. Above and beyond championships won, it's just the fact that they haven't been able to mesh at all with any meaningful time. So that's fail number one. But the other portion of this that is a little stunning to me is to think that the Sixers are looking around, and it speaks to what we've been asking every expert. They're looking around saying, as good as we are right now, and as well as things are going, and as great as Joel Embiid has been throughout this course of the season, we don't have enough. And if we're willing to give up a bunch of pieces to get Harden, that tells you that they believe they're good enough to be relevant in the regular season and not to win a championship, and that's a fail after all of these years in play.
Maybe, or they think we could be even better. Because look at the East right now. If the Nets don't improve, the Nets don't figure it out, you don't have that one dominant, out-of-control team. The Heat look really good, and when the Heat are healthy, they're very dangerous. I love my Bulls squad, but my Bulls squad is not of the level that the Nets, when they've got their big three and everybody's clicking, which is very rarely. I think it looks open with the Bucks coming off a win. It's so hard to repeat. The Cavs are surprising, sitting in there at the 5 spot. It is a packed East where anybody can get it, and I think the Sixers don't have to believe we can't win, but they can just think we're going to get better. We know that they're interested in picking up Harden in the offseason anyway. So it is this incredible thing where surprising, despite the sort of albatross that is Ben Simmons, their position in this, which worries me very clear, because we're not in a rush. We're happy to sit on it so we can get the best assets possible, which we thought would be the offense. And now it appears if the Nets are going to fatigued with Harden and they don't think this is going to work, look at now instead, the Nets have the time. We're not on the Sixers team. We can't even own it, and Nets will be great with us.
You're right about the weekend. You're right about everything. I guess for me, I hear what you're saying, that maybe this makes it better. Well, because to me, if you're going to leverage a bunch of things, you're changing what's in the basket right now. What's in the basket's working.
So just the risk of adding Harden. I agree with you. I mean, we certainly see Harden. He's not an MVP type anymore, but he's an all-star. And while his numbers have dropped a lot of that has to do with him not being happy in this season, the back and forth changing styles of when Irving is there and when he's out. I think you could absolutely see him regain a lot of his ability if he is put in a different place. On the other hand, if you think about the Nets side of this, and if they are truly willing to give up Harden right now, they gave up Karis LeVert, Taurean Prince, Jarrett Allen, and 7 years of draft assets.
Oh my God!
Right? 3 first-round picks, 4 first-round pick swaps to get Harden from the Rockets, because the Rockets knew, like, we got to get a whole bunch if we're just giving him up, and you're going to end up in this short of a time
just moving him for Ben Simmons and some role players, so they're going to have to get more than Ben Simmons plus whatever makes the money work. That's why I'm saying they're going to need to get probably, like a Harris and a Green. But man, I mean, if the Nets give up and implode before even the end of this season, what a colossal failure, Fitz.
Well, and that seems to be one of the stories of the NBA this year. We've got the ABC game tomorrow that you can hear on ESPN Radio, Knicks at Lakers. They're going to try, both the Knicks and Lakers are going to try and get this one. Getting this one brought to you by AutoZone, getting this on AutoZone. But let's face it, neither of these teams are particularly good right now. So, they're okay. We've got a battle of the okays, and that's what it feels like. The Nets are sort of stuck. Maybe they're stuck in okay. I guess I presume that the Nets thought that they would get everything worked out, just like I keep presuming the Lakers will get it worked out, just like so many people thought the Knicks would get it worked out. Maybe this is the season where nobody figures anything else out.
Just the Bulls.
Yeah, just the Bulls. That's a fair point. Just the Bulls. The Bulls have it all figured. You know what?
The Bulls, man.
I need the Bulls to win the NBA championship this year because, frankly, that would make
We can't help your daughter get straight A's. We can't help you get the best genetics for your farm.
Grizzlies for Jared Jackson at 8 o'clock Eastern. You don't want to miss that. Keep the NBA top. But the Super Bowl winning coach off the unemployment
Is an example of black athletes making history beyond the game. Working with Palmetto Health Children's Hospital to bring awareness and raise funds for young people fighting cancer.
I just feel like when I'm having a bad day, I'm down, there's kids that's going through probably the ultimate challenge, but they're pushing through. I was so happy to really bring awareness to that, just to continue working my community in those ways.
NBA celebrates Manchester United.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or buy from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Switching the block.
Family. It looks a little different for everyone. For some, it's mom and dad. For us, we feel like family. And for others, it's our people and their other golfing buddies or children, a high school soccer team starting lineup, and oh look, they're all taking you up on the offer to stay for dinner. Finally passing the limits of that phrase, the more the merrier. But no matter where you call home, Geico makes it easy to bundle and save on home and car insurance. Easier than making 3 frozen pizzas and assorted frozen veggies into a cohesive meal.
Through at the Clash. I'm Susie Armstrong, the story next on NASCAR Today.
It's your all-access pass to the world of NASCAR every weekday morning with NASCAR Heat Pass.
Man, it's just unreal to hit the fence, to go to the back, to fix it, to make huge improvements, and to be able to run as good as we do.
And your sport's biggest stars as they talk life and off the racetrack.
Great things going on. It's cool to come back to Kansas. It's great to get back to victory lane.
NASCAR Hot Pass, weekday morning from the Motor Racing Network.
Race fans, you know running on the track is tough. So Mahindra Tractors is bringing all of their toughness from fields across America to the field on race day. That's right. Look for Chase Briscoe in the all-new Mahindra Tractors number 14 car. So cheer for Chase. Then race into your local Mahindra dealer for 0% interest or to save thousands on Mahindra, the official tractor of Tough and Stuart Haas Racing. Find your Mahindra dealer at MahindraUSA.com. On select models for a limited time only, go to WhyMahindra.com for more information.
NASCAR Cup Series regular Corey LaJoie kicked off the 2021 season, driving to a top 10 finish in the Daytona 500. Helping to repeat the strong start for Spire Motorsports, the 30-year-old plans to take advantage of the no-points, full-contact Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum this Sunday to muscle his way to the forefront again.
I do think anything is going to be worth it to be the first guy to win in the next-gen car, as well as the first guy to win, potentially the only guy to win in the LA Coliseum. So I think there's going to be a lot of guys going to some great lengths, myself included, to get myself into the show, as well as hopefully put ourselves in position to win the show.
I'm Susie Armstrong. This is NASCAR Today on the Motor Racing Network.
ESPN Radio Extra Point with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
This is not about Matthew Stafford. He took care of his business. He cashed his check already by winning a playoff game. Then he got an extra bonus by winning a second playoff game. Then he got an extra bonus even more by winning the third playoff game and getting them to the Super Bowl. It was never about him getting to the Super Bowl because, quite frankly, in Detroit, he was great. The problem wasn't him. Detroit fans are cheering for him because he was always the positive guy doing the right things. He didn't ask to be removed from Detroit. This is on Sean McVay. The heat is on McVay and Les Snead to win the Super Bowl. They got to the same spot in 2018 with Jared Goff. So this is all about Sean McVay and Les Snead. Matthew Stafford is good now. He won his playoffs. He's fine.
This is KGYM, 1600 AM and 102.3 FM, The Gym.
Spain and Fitz on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. Sarah Spain, Jason Fitz. Represented by Progressive Insurance. The Jags have a head coach. Rejoice, Jacksonville. You got your guy, whatever that means. That guy is Doug Peterson. Now, I say whatever that means because I want to constantly remind everybody we have no idea if these hires are going to work out, and 99% of the time, eventually they'll get fired anyway. But today, you can have some hope, and I think there has been a message, sir. It feels like of a lot of people that feel like Doug Peterson could have impact in Jacksonville, where we're only a few months removed from Trevor Lawrence being the conversation of being the answer for all things that ailed everything in Jacksonville. So if you believe that, you get a coach that managed to get the best out of Carson Wentz, that has a Super Bowl win, that went to the playoffs 3 of the 5 years he was the head coach there, coming into a situation where he knows offense, he knows quarterbacks. Maybe this is the great ray of hope that the Jags needed.
Could be, and it's certainly a good omen for it to happen on the 4-year anniversary of Peterson leading the Eagles to a Super Bowl. There's a lot of good vibes around Peterson and what he did in Philly floating around the internet today. A lot of his former players posting videos and celebrations from back then. That's a good feeling when your coach has had proven success, but it's also a little bit weird, the timing of all this. If you recall the end of Peterson's tenure, there was some of that conversation around tanking. And here we are in the midst of a pretty interesting time for the NFL when it comes to conversations of incentivized losing. Also worth noting that this is the Jags. So regardless of the success someone had somewhere else, they need to do it again in Jacksonville to prove that they can overcome the stench of that team. This squad is not very old, but they have had 9 head coaches since their first season in '95. I want you to know that Urban Meyer is in the top 5 in wins. I want you to know that Urban Meyer, who did not complete the season, who oversaw the team for 2 wins, is in the top 5 of wins in Jaguars history. I want you to remember, we talked about this the other night, that the GM, Brett Bonke, has fired 4 coaches in his last 4 seasons as a GM. Which means, as Kevin Clark pointed out on Twitter, he has employed more coaches in 4 seasons with the Jaguars than the Steelers have.
Richmond trying to post up, then tries to feed Tyree Samuel, turns it back over. Pirates have been a little sloppy on the last couple of possessions. It doesn't matter. Right now, the Giants struggle to find any kind of offense right now. 19-3. Nearly 8 minutes in. Here's O'Connell. I don't know what happened. The ball got hit.
Able to get the turn 2-point lead. Rucker off the dribble for 3, and that one won't.
behind the start position series.
That's actually going to be the...
Real estate signs, promotional items, trophies, plaques, offset laser and screen printing, embroidery.
Posters, graphic design, and novelties.
From the shirt on your back to the sky on your door, D&D does it all and more. At D&D.
But you talked about the fact that he's going to have a guy who's been a coach before. That's going to have
Have you ever thought
This is the World at 6. I'm Paul Harrington. You can hear the World at 6 wherever you are. Just download the CBC Listen app. Look at the best from CBC Radio, CBC Podcast, and CBC Music. You can also subscribe to our podcast and get it delivered directly to your device. Developing countries have long complained about countries such as Canada knowing their plastic waste. Now, but this is a report by Radio Television.
And I feel under pressure, help me to change.
The humor and the jokes, and so is a good show. And they're talking about, coming up next, we've got the leader of BLM and two retired NYPD detectives. And they're having this Spanglish, bilingual English-Spanish debate.
Wickedness has come up before me, but Jonah rose up to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord.
651-304-99.
Who recovered from their demolished school, marking the exact moment of the Aberfan disaster.
A flurry of activity. A woman stuck in a blinding Saskatchewan blizzard could hardly believe her eyes when an 80-year-old man emerged from the storm to rescue her.
Organized chaos. The U.S. Army is pulling out all the stops in its fight against invasive species of carp threatening the Great Lakes, and it's hoping the so-called zone of chaos will help tip the scales.
Down for the count. A Florida entrepreneur hopes to redefine what a featherweight fight means with a push to make pillow fighting a pro sport.
And some like it hoot. Burrowing owl habitats are under threat, so our guest is trying to entice the birds into new digs, which is labor-intensive but makes for a moving display. As it happens, the Friday edition, Radio Who's guests are owl work and no play. Isolate and contain. Ottawa police say that's their new strategy for dealing with the protesters who've occupied parts of downtown for almost a week now. Police are promising barricades and 150 more officers on patrol, and they say they'll be stepping up enforcement. But there is concern that more truckers and more of their supporters are on the way. And similar protests have already begun in Winnipeg and Quebec City and are expected in Toronto on the weekend. Catherine McKenney is the city councillor for the downtown ward where the protests are happening. We reached them in Ottawa.
Councillor McKenney, can you describe the red zone, this area, the center of Ottawa where most of this is going on? Just give us a little walking tour of the kinds of things that you've seen there.
It starts with dozens of very large vehicles parked all over the streets completely filled with large vehicles. There are open gas canisters everywhere for refueling. There is an incessant honking of air horns. It is absolute and utter chaos.
And what we've seen pictures of, it seems that they've built a structure, a shed to store some combustible materials, a lot of it there. I'm looking at a video now where it looks like about 10 cords of firewood being delivered in Confederation Park, and there's a giant crane with a flag on it. How did all this stuff get into the center of town?
Well, that is the million-dollar question, how it was allowed to how any of this was allowed to arrive, but certainly how it continued. It is suddenly actually taking over the residential part of Ottawa. Just absolute and utter lawlessness.
Somebody called it, a word to sum it up was a sense of impunity. Would you use that word?
100%. The downtown, the residents who live in downtown Ottawa have been abandoned. During a national crisis, during an occupation, all of our local police are focused on the Hill in the parliamentary precinct, and there is absolutely zero police presence in the downtown where 35,000 residents call home. That you could not imagine occurring, not just in the city, but in this country with absolute impunity.
The Ottawa Police Service has said that they're too slowly saying that he's learning what has to be done, but he has described this as a very volatile and very dangerous situation. He said that there will be more people on the street to deal with the cases of residents being harassed, threatened with rape, threatened with violence, because they're wearing masks, that there will now be some people to protect your residents. What do you think of how the Ottawa police have handled all of this?
I am simply appalled at how downtown residents have been abandoned. I understand that early this morning there was an announcement that there would be more police in our community, one on every corner. I was downtown between 11 and 1. I did not see that presence. I am receiving emails now from people begging me, asking me where that presence is. It is still not there this afternoon at 4:43. It does not take days to send out 150 patrols on the streets. We are just at our wit's end. I don't even know how to speak for residents anymore. It is frightening, and if the situation on the Hill is volatile and dangerous, it is also volatile and dangerous for the people that I represent in this city.
The police have said they've made some arrests, including somebody with a firearm. They have said that they believe that there may be other weapons and firearms in the vehicles. And the police have also said that
free will also include something unique that produces immediate results. $100 value free to those that call in the next 2 minutes.
You heard it, guys. Call Valley View Medical Clinic right now to claim that offer. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction by treating the root cause. 515-300-5555. That's 515-300-5555. 515-300-5555.
If you're tired of big cable bills, you can get Newsmax TV for free. Millions are watching Newsmax. Available now on major cable systems or for free on smart TVs like Samsung, LG, and Vizio. Find it streaming on Roku, Xumo, Pluto, Amazon Fire, TiVo, Apple TV, and more. 7 million Americans have downloaded the free Newsmax app on their smartphones. It takes just seconds. Then watch us anytime, anywhere. Forbes calls Newsmax a news powerhouse. Find out why. Start watching today.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. It's every thing from the boats qualified candidates for finding your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
The Student of the Year competition this year is fundraising for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Let's meet another Student of the Year candidate.
Hi, I'm Charlie Brick, and I'm Olivia Johnson, and we're co-candidates for Team Dxing. As juniors at Anchor Centennial High School, we're using our school spirit to fuel our passion for fundraising and making a difference. Every 3 minutes, one person in the U.S. is diagnosed with a form of blood cancer. You can help make a difference by going to events.lls.org and donating to the team Dxing.
We got a few phones that are now in use. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, you guys are looking good. You're looking good.
Woohoo! Just called us Wayne. An extra cat I've never heard of. Jones County, GW Wagner knows that. Thank you very much. $250. We really appreciate that. Thank you for doing that.